and everyone.
I think we lost Tina. First casualty of the day. Tina, you back?
I don't know. Am I?
You're back.
Can you hear me? Okay. Where did I go? Where was I at?
Team.
I'll just start at the mission and then we can go from there. How does that sound?
Perfect.
The mission of the group is to promote and foster a best-in-class organizational culture that prioritizes inclusion and diversity. We strive to create a work environment where all employees feel a strong sense of belonging, where their voices and opinions are heard, and they are provided equal opportunity to. So I wanted to share a quote with you guys from Guy Fieri. He said, "Cooking is all about people. Food is maybe the only universal thing that really has the power to bring everyone together. No matter what culture, everywhere around the world, people eat together." So since we were in a pandemic and that was a little hard to do, the team thought this would be a good way to come together. The MC for today's show is Caleb Shomo, and our world famous cook is Dan Marcellus. And I know we're all excited to dig in, so without further ado, I will turn it over to Caleb and Dan. Bon appetit.
Awesome. Thank you, Tina. So true about food, whether it's work, friends, neighbors, church. It just brings people together, strangers together. So awesome to be sharing this time with you all. Thank you again for choosing to join us. The same as food brings people together, sometimes a beverage of choice does as well. So cheers. As Tina mentioned, one particular focus that the IND group has had this year is just creating awareness, education, and celebration about the diversity that lives within LCE and just bringing that to light on LCE Net. And now the most recent means of doing that is LCE Cooks. And we're super excited about this. Pumped for the span Musubi as well as learning Masubi. Thank you, Tom. I'll let you say that. And we're really excited about this. All people are welcome at these events, whether you're cooking or not. I'm obviously not in my kitchen right now. I spared you 3 rowdy kids, a puppy, and an old cat jumping on the counter. But you can cook it at your leisure later. We've got a little enticement for diving into getting the ingredients and preparing the meal after we learned from Dan. So if you post a completed picture of your meal on the LCE Net post, you may or may not be entered in to win a gift card by way of a drawing. So you got to post the picture to find out, but a little enticement there. So my role, as I was informed by Dan of what a producer is or what an MC is, it's really to fill the dead space. So he told me to check behind him for grease fires that he may not be aware of. And that's about it. So hopefully I don't blow it. Quick snapshot of our host, Dan Marcellus. He's a project manager up in Philly office. He's been with LCE for 18 years. Probably can't believe it by looking at him, but been here a long time. Somehow between working here and raising his family, he still has found time to engage kids in his community, do things like an hour of code, teaching young folks the technical skills that he's so well equipped with. He also likes photography, web design. So, this draws on all his passions and strengths, maybe with exception of long walks on the beach. So we're incredibly happy to have Dan with us today. Without further ado, Dan, please make any further introductions you'd like, any safety disclaimers that are necessary, and get into why the meal is so important to you in the work of cooking. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Caleb and Tina, for giving me some time to relax here as things get started. I always get a bad case of the butterflies before things kick off. I really wanted to pick a dish that meant quite a bit to me, and it's kind of like gas station food. It's something that I find comforting to make and share with friends. People are always a little shocked over the ingredients, but it's pretty commonplace in Maui, where my mom was born. I've got some friends here from the Philadelphia office that know I usually try to slip in that Hawaii mention within the first 10 to 15 minutes of meeting anyone because I'm very proud of it. I see the head nod from Candace. But But basically, this idea of cooking in my kitchen with friends and family is something that I really miss from quarantine. I have a cousin that I was able to connect with who lives on Oahu, and we'll be meeting up in about 5 hours for an hour or so. But it's dinner time for him. So when we were first talking about this idea of the LCE Cooks, Jamal had talked about getting a recipe going and just posting it. I thought what would be really fun is to do a cook along, because my cousin just was in his kitchen and started doing a little Julia Child's impression and talking about what he's doing and what he's cooking next, and it just made me smile. And I thought, hey, there's a cool way for me to bring that to all of you. So with that, we're gonna jump right on in. Again, I think Caleb mentioned it up top, but please jump off mute, talk. This is supposed to be like we're hanging out in my kitchen. We're supposed to be talking back and forth. No one wants to hear me talk the whole time. And if you need me to go over anything, just yell it out. So first things first, let's just talk about our agenda for today. So we're gonna do our introductions, the legal disclaimer about setting fire to your homes. We shared the mission. We discussed goals. So we're on number 5, which is make the dish. So with that, we need to set up our mise en place. There's a French way to say that I'm not going to even attempt, but basically that's just get everything you're going to need out in front of you. So I think I might be the only one cooking, but for me, I've got Aloha Shoyu, which is the Hawaii brand shoyu. This is the one that the locals use, and the ever-present kikkoman. You'll see that mine are both the lower salt variations because I inherited high blood pressure like the rest of my family. So I pretend to use the low salt version, like that's going to make it okay. The 1 tablespoon here has 26% of your daily salt, and we're going to blow right through that. So the first thing we're going to set up is this teriyaki sauce. So we're going to bring over to our we're going to do this right on the stove. So switching over to stove view. Again, we're very high tech here today, people. We've got 3 cameras going, and we're just going to pour off a bunch of that soy sauce or shoyu, depending on where you're from. Look at Justin Wilson, the dad. That is amazing. All right, so that's going to take a while, but basically, you're going to want to you want to make enough of this to kind of cover the bottom of whatever pan you're going to be frying your Spam in. So I will be frying my Spam in this size pan. It's going to be a god-awful mess once you start this process, but we're basically going to get a little bit of the soy sauce in there. A little fire on. You're not trying to boil this. You just want to heat it up a little bit so that the sugar melts.
Hey, Dan, is this going to be a gray meat type special here? Or
there is definitely going to be some gray meat.
Class?
So I didn't know how to cook. Well, I'm still not a great cook, but I didn't know how to cook 12 years ago. And I invited Candace over for dinner, and she was shocked that I was using ketchup instead of tomato paste for my red marinara. But I think what we should all appreciate is that ketchup is pretty close to tomato paste. But I've learned a little bit since then. But Candace won't eat anything I bring in from the potluck. if we potluck, Candace is like, which one is yours? Okay, good. I'm gonna be over here avoiding that. But it looks good. It looks good. So you could definitely measure all this out. I never do. So you just want to put sugar in your soy sauce and heat it up and melt it. I probably put too much sugar in there, but we'll make it work. This is a cooking show. The quality on this camera is the worst. so you guys probably can't see super good. And you're just heating it up with the hopes that helps the sugar melt a little quicker, but not too fast to boil it. So while that's going over there, we're going to switch over to the cutting board. And at this point, most of you should have made rice. My mom is from Hawaii, so we use a rice cooker. Apparently, there's a way to make it in a pot with a lid. I Googled it. It seemed amazing. It wasn't anything I wanted to get involved in. But for those of you that are boiling your pot on the stove, God bless. Good luck. I go with the old rice cooker. That's kind of how we rock. So
The stove version is guaranteed to boil over all over your stove, so you have something to clean up.
Every single time.
Yep.
so this is what rice looks like for me, and it's just done and nice, way easier. Anna always laughs because on our first date, or our second date, I came over to cook for her, and I brought a rice cooker with me, and then I just left it there because she didn't have one, and I had like 3 of them because of course I did. So that's the story she likes to tell. I won't share any more than that because there's children around, so we'll just move on to the next piece, which is checking our stove. You want to make sure you don't see little granules of sugar in there, so just keep heating it until that's clear. So I don't know if you guys can see, but I'm going to wait until that's not there anymore. If you're just using the Kikkoman brand, it's very salty, and some people will cut that with water. And you can just kind of, if you're cooking for your family in your own home, you can just do the finger test, see if you want to like add a little water, or water if you're not from the Philadelphia region.
Water.
What? Now I'm not going to be able to say it. Water.
Safety interruption, folks. Dan's giving bad ideas out there. To put,
In Philly, it's water. Think wood like from a tree, and then add water.
Water.
Okay, so we were doing the spam thing, I believe. We were gonna get started with our spam action. So someone shared that this used to work a little differently, where there was a rolling tin. But the way it works nowadays is you just crack an attack, as they say. That definitely landed on the floor. So that's going to be really loud. I apologize, but a couple snaps on the thing there, and you've got basically the most glorious meat product known to man. For those of you who haven't experienced the joy of spam, this is it. If there's any of that fun gelatin in there, you don't want to lose any of that. That's the nice, lovely flavor.
It's the best part, Dan.
Yeah, don't lose that.
Oh, I always rinse that off.
No, keep that.
Please rinse it off. Do not eat the gel part.
Oh, y'all just send it all down the sink.
People get so upset about this, but the ingredients are amazing. Like, look how there's nothing healthier than this.
No. Bone meal. I think I see bone meal.
There's 5 ingredients. 3 of them look like vegetables.
If you can't tell,
Yeah,
don't eat it.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure this is about the healthiest thing you could do. I was also considering. I have some veggie patties. I was gonna make one of those as well, but I really just can't bring myself to ruin what is otherwise awesome. So I'm sorry, but
This is just getting better and better, Dan. Better and better.
So over here on our stove, you're going to note that I don't see any sugar granules in there anymore. So that means this is based. Oh, wait, I lied. I see them. I just didn't stir good enough. Okay, so keep giving a couple of stirs of that while we're going. You want to make sure that it doesn't boil because that's going to be a weird vibe. And then at the same time, I want to add a little bit of citrus to this. So I'm going to find a lime or a lemon, and you want to just squeeze some lime or lemon into there. And we've got weird lemon. We always have a half-cut lemon around here because My wife is German and drinks a lot of tea, and lemon goes into everything.
Yes.
Save the lime or the limes for your gin, Dan. You don't want to run out
So
later.
we have half-cut lemons all the time too, because my husband likes to drink the Long Island iced teas. So
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, I made up the bit about tea. We all know that those are.
Oh, okay. The other kind of tea, right?
We all know it's for margaritas. Just so we're clear. All right, so that's basically it. I'll also slice ginger and leave that in this to steep as well. But for this, that's more if I'm doing a marinade. So for this case here, we're just gonna like drop it in glaze with it. So don't get too crazy. Keep it simple. And then we're gonna just really focus right now on our cutting board here. Stand by, fancy, fancy. And we're gonna cut the Spam. Now, people in my house don't particularly like big chunks of Spam. They like it a little thinner. So if you're looking at your piece of Spam, just mentally divide it in half, and then those halves in half again, you'll get 4 pieces, and then you divide those again, and you'll get 8. 8 is a good amount, but because my family doesn't like the big chunks, I'll usually do half of it kind of big, and then I'll do a bunch of thin slices for the pickier people in the household. I'm looking at you, Leo, but he's not here, so just for, I kicked him out because I knew he was going to be walking through the back of the screen. So get yourself a knife, a sharp one, and I don't have that cool like ability to do with the knuckles here, so just don't cut off your fingers, and away we go. So you just want to cut those as nicely and as evenly as you can. Just peeling it off the blade there, just in the most glorious of ways. It's really, this is good stuff.
That's what I'm talking about, Chef Ramsay.
Treat is better.
Oh, it's getting stuck to the blade, but it's okay. So I've found that the magic amount is 2 cups of rice, like real cups, not the rice cup. So 2 cups of rice and 1 can of Spam is like the perfect amount of everything. And I like to put a lot of rice in mine because I like these things to be, a meal. That was way too thin because I'm talking and trying to cut. So if you cut a really thin one, that's okay. It's just going to be extra crispy. And then when you make those mistakes, just fix it on the next one. So I'm eyeballing the next one. I'm going to make it a little bit wider, and that'll be mine. I eat the mistakes. And just keep going here. So I don't even know how many I've cut. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. That's 8. And
Looks
then,
like 8.
Yeah, so this is going to be 9 and 10. So I think 10's probably right. If you were trying to serve up some like 10 slice Spam at a family function, people are going to look at you like you're trying to be cheap and not make a properly sized, like, so if you're going somewhere, cut them in 8. But if you're doing them for home, do what you like. So that's ready. And you can just put that aside, the teriyaki sauce, once that's done. And we're going to go to the most critical piece, which is frying off the Spam. Let me just check my agenda here. Cooking agenda. Get our rice going. Okay. Create the teriyaki sauce. Boom. Slice the Spam and start it. Okay. All right. We're not forgetting anything. So again, we have all of our glorious Spam just hanging out, ready to go. And then into this large saucepan, you want to heat that guy up a little bit. So I'm going to give that a minute to warm up. And is anyone cooking with me along from home?
Looks like Sarah, maybe.
Sarah's getting after it. Okay, that's
Go, Sarah. Dan, do they sell Spam in Hawaii the same way they sell it over here?
What do you mean?
No, they sell it way more amazingly. There's like way more flavors and varieties. Kind of like there's a whole aisle of options. We could
Like Lay's potato chips. There's like
Really?
flavors.
It comes in flavors? I've never heard or saw that it came in flavors.
I think we mentioned kind of early on that was an option.
Tawanda, you're missing out.
They have a great
Hey.
website. Their website shows a picture of every single variety. I think there's like 30.
Yeah.
Well, I stopped eating Spam a really long time ago.
Yeah, they have Spam with cheese. Doesn't that sound nice?
A fried Spam sandwich.
I've only done the there's a reduced fat, there's a reduced salt, and I've tried the turkey one.
What?
The turkey Spam is about as wild as I got. I don't. If you look at the ingredients on the other ones, they look really unhealthy. The healthiest one is definitely the full fat. In my mind, it's got the least number of ingredients.
Isn't that the keto version, the full fat?
Yeah. Ingredients in this is pork with ham, which I assume is a weird sentence to start out with. But pork with ham,
With ham.
salt, water, or water, depending on where you're from.
That was an
Modified
impressive
potato
order.
starch.
That was good.
Your modified potato starch, that's practically a vegetable. And then you've got sugar and sodium nitrate, which is just more flavor, is all I'm hearing. The only thing that can make it better is if it has some MSG in it. It's really the only thing it's missing to be perfect.
There's a jalapeno flavor. There's a garlic flavor. Have you guys looked this up?
Wow.
There is a bacon flavor.
I've got a horrible feeling that I'm going to start seeing like some crazy varieties of Spam coming into the office, and I'm a little excited by it. When we all get to go back in.
Hey, Tawanda, today's the day to get back on the Spam wagon.
Yeah.
It's happening, I can tell.
Oh my gosh.
Tim,
Well, you-
where is the ketchup? Is the ketchup coming in soon or no?
Nah.
Later.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, we're gonna close. We're gonna definitely close. So I put a little bit of oil in the pan, which you don't really need to do because there's enough fat in Spam that you don't need to do it. But I didn't want to admit that out loud to all of you that you don't actually need to grease your pan because the Spam self greases. But I'm realizing now it's kind of silly. I should just tell you all that's how it works.
A fat
That's how you know it's good
flavor.
for you.
You get a nice crisp on it. Nice
This is where
crisp. Nice
this is
sear.
where you're gonna hit up your inner Tetris, or like there's a way to get all these in there
For
in one go
placement?
with the
Oh,
right
wow.
pan. I'm probably not going to be successful with it, but maybe we'll be lucky here on the screen. Just one time. No. So that's the other reason why 8 is the perfect number, because 8 perfectly fits in most saucepans.
Or you could get a bigger pan.
No, you're right. I should definitely get a bigger pan. I'm adjusting my very high-tech tower here. For those of you who didn't catch the earlier part of the show, we'll just slide a little bit. We've got a Lego tower of Duplos
Yes.
holding up the camera for the stovetop. Hopefully those don't melt. I will have to answer.
Where
I will
is the
have some
fire extinguisher?
tough things to answer, but
Gosh,
Duplos
that's
are amazing for one. Okay, so the Spam's going. That's going to take a minute. And what we're going to work on next is we're going to start the Nori Prep. And I'm checking our clock. It's only 5:30, so we're doing pretty good here. I told Caleb I thought it would take about 35 minutes. We're not going to be done in 7 minutes here, so Might have been a little bit off on the timing, but we're gonna go ahead and start with the nori. You want to wipe your surface down a little bit in between.
You guys, I'm really floored about this spam. Like, they have it in like all the flavors at my local store. Oh my God. I thought they stopped selling spam.
Oh, I'm
It's
detecting a
become
whole
every
new
flavor
range of
beans
menu
flavor.
items for you.
Oh my gosh.
This is it's such a funny thing because it's like such a childhood weird reminder, you know. Even when I smell cooking, it like kind of transports you back. I think some people were mentioning Vienna sausage as, you know, a favorite. These musubis in Hawaii, they will make them with just about everything under the sun. So Hawaii, they have these red hot dogs. I don't know what they're. I don't know why they're red, but the hot dogs are all red there. So they'll butterfly one and put like half a hot dog butterflied across the top of this thing. You can get it with a piece of chicken. You can get it with like an egg. You can get scrambled egg. Basically everything. But we stick to the chicken and the Portuguese sausage, the hot dog, and of course the spam. The reason why you kind of get into the other ones is they usually sell out of the spam first. Those usually go first. So then you got to pick through, you know, the weird stuff.
Hey Dan, this spam cam is I think you're onto something. I think we could put up a paywall and people might pay to watch the spam cook. It's strangely relaxing, kind of like a campfire.
Yeah, this needs to go in Launchpad.
Exactly.
I'm glad we're really getting there and hitting on what the people needed, really.
So when I was a kid, we used spam as a substitute for bacon. So it was spam and eggs. I don't think I remember having it as a dish for dinner.
Huh?
I don't think I remember that.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was always a breakfast.
Man, it was breakfast, lunch, and dinner from a while.
Lunch. Fried spam and cheese sandwich. Yum, yum.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Cheese, Tina? I don't know.
A little bit of everything.
Macaroni and cheese with treat. We had treat, not spam.
Oh.
Just to
So-
know, it looks the same.
So I told my husband this morning that it's our 30th, today is 30 years that we've been together. I told him he's getting spam and rice for dinner. So it's like the most romantic meal ever.
Oh.
Yeah,
It's for all occasions, really.
I brought this in for a potluck. It didn't crush the way I thought it would have, but
People are scared of it.
I think Valentine's Day's coming up.
Well, hey, I'll be in Maui for Valentine's Day, so I'll take a picture of the spam from the local 7-Eleven and send it to you.
Oh, see, a research project.
That'd be so
Well,
cool.
Little fun story. Gary from Hawaii says the best musubi in Hawaii is sold at 7-Eleven.
yeah, it's they're like gas station food there. The funny thing is that in Hawaii you'll find a lot of you know, the convenience store jobs here on the East Coast are normally staffed. It's not always like a job that everyone wants. But in Hawaii, it's a job, and like anything else, you'll find a whole range of people working there. So you'll find like some really well-made food that you wouldn't expect in places you wouldn't expect. So you know, if you're telling someone on the East Coast, I'm going to the 7-Eleven to get lunch, they're like, oh, okay, I guess you're in a rush or something terrible is happening. But in Hawaii, it's like, yeah, well, let's make sure we stop at, you know, the 7-Eleven to pick up spam musubis before we hit the beach. So So it's definitely a cool thing where everyone's got their favorite spot. Mine is a place called Takamiya's.
Looks like Candace is taking notes.
Is you taking notes, Candace? I
was
got my
writing
ingredients. I'm
myself a
trying
note.
this.
Don't let Dan bring this into office.
You know, I'm gonna just start working it out with Justin to cater your next 5 or 6 family events, and I'll bring it in like the nice, like I'm gonna go buy the best cartons and containers to like stick the food in, so it's really legit. And then right when you're halfway through, going like, Justin, I cannot believe, where did you find this place? He's gonna just pull me out of. I'm gonna jump out. Like, I cooked it, Candace. Ruin your whole day. So that should be browning up. You want to get that pretty brown in there. And I'm kind of was buying some time. So any nori will do. This is the one that I'm using. It went bad just 2 months ago. So
that's good.
That's totally fine.
Dan, what else can you use? Dan.
So if you don't have seaweed, you can also buy, like, sometimes you can find these, like, seaweed snacks. This is from Costco. We really like to let my kids get made fun of on the playground, like this being their go-to snack at the beach. So I enjoy these. These are a good way to go. I'll just open them up. So that, this isn't perfect because the sheets are a little smaller, they're more individual, but yeah, you can make it work. Honestly, the seaweed is just there, kind of like a hot dog bun would be for us on the East Coast. It's to hold it, so you don't need it overly large. A lot of the times we'll use smaller pieces of seaweed. You can see me, I use giant chunks of seaweed to kind of hold the thing together. And then one of the other things,
use wontons or wonton wrappers.
Different
flavor.
Yeah, if you wanted to cook it, I'm trying to think. Like, if you wanted to go healthier, I mean, nori's healthy, but you could use like cabbage wraps and swap out the Spam for like something else. Use like my sister likes to torture me and make these vegetarian dishes and then put out like kale or cabbage to hold everything, and then you roll it up and eat like a cabbage thing. So I would probably say that cabbage or some sort of leaf would probably be more in the spirit of it. If you go with a wonton wrapper, you're going to probably have to fry it to make that work, which would be amazing. I mean, that's kind of what you do the next day with these. You can fry them to reheat them. So I'm going to flipperoo here, and then that's right around, I guess, where you're hoping to get.
Yep.
You want to put a little color on them. Again, grease burns, so be careful. Not that this is grease. I'm pretty sure this is some sort of vegetable product that's glistening here in the bottom of the pan. Probably that potato starch that's leaking out, keeping things nice and healthy. So what's wild is, as salty as this Spam is, which is already like a delicious salt bomb, we're going to dunk it in shoyu or soy sauce to make it even saltier. And then you're going to take the rice, nice bland rice is going to like neutralize the salt a bit. But it sounds a little crazy. Like, I'm using the low sodium salt for mine, but that's not what they're not using the low sodium salt out there on island if they're doing the Terry Spam. And the official name of this is Terry Spam. That's what that would be referred to. They're just cutting this with a bit of water. Water. I'm gonna stop mentioning that I say that wrong, because I think that was like 12 times, and we probably don't need to mention it again. And again, if you're following along later on with the with the recipe here. Everything is in there. We're pretty much just to let you know that we're moving along nicely. We start out here with our ingredients. You know, those are all there. I didn't use brown sugar because we didn't have it. I used a lemon and not a lime. I didn't zest it because who has time for that? Take your rice, cut the Spam 8 to 10 slices with a sharp knife. Fry it. Okay, and we're getting like once it browns on both sides, this is where we're gonna like do the dunk. So you get it brown, and then we're gonna just spoon or pour. I'm not spooning it in. We're just gonna pour it on top and let it fry. And you're gonna have to move quick there because it's gonna want to burn, and it's kind of like you're kind of just caramelizing the Spam there. So we do need to get our nori sheets rocking and rolling. So that's what we're doing now. Now I've heard that people actually use scissors to cut the sheets, which sounded like a really good idea. It's not what I'm going to do, but you can use a pair of scissors to cut the sheets, and then you can sort of use whatever size you're comfortable with. But I'm going to use the maximum size seaweed sheets. You know, we're not stingy with our nori here in Cafe Marcellus.
Dan, I just want to say that you are doing a great job both in schedule, teaching, and prep. I would say that you rival the best 7-Eleven in Hawaii.
We aim to please. So we're looking for 4 sheets here, and that is smelling done. That's moving along a little quicker than I want. So perfect world, everything ends and is ready at around the same time. Because you want to have everything be nice and hot when it hits the seaweed.
Hey Dan, can you flip us back to Spam Cam? I'm kind of
Spam Cam. Thank you, Bob. Back to the Spam Cam. So you guys probably didn't see that I jumped in and just did a quick check, and we're looking good. I'm going to rotate the in ones to the outside and some of the outside ones to the inside. That's in the advanced lesson, but I think you guys are ready. If your Spam starts to bubble, that's okay. That just means some of the flavor is ready to get out. I really want to do this with Scrapple, but Anna was like, you're already pushing people into the direction they don't want with the Spam. You deciding to make a Scrapple Musubi for everybody would be a little bit much.
Isn't Scrapple a little mushier than Spam?
Yeah.
It is.
It is, but you can get a nice crispy crust on Scrapple.
You can, and I'm going to just tell all the business. So I totally purchased Scrapple a week ago just for nostalgia, just so that I can make it like I had it as a kid. Don't tell anyone else.
What is Scrapple?
It's
Don't ask. Don't ask.
Oh, you never want to ask what Scrapple is. You don't want to know.
I think it's best if you Google it.
My family. This is Tina Recu from the Charleston office. My family's Jewish, and I'm not sure if it has anything to do with it, but they like something called liver mush, which is very similar to Scrapple and Spam.
Oh, not even close. Liver mush is not even close.
Well, that's what they said. I've never tried
my liver mush. I love the liver mush. Scrapple, I don't even want to think about it. For pudding, no. Hey, Wanda, you can make me some.
It looks the same. Look, I just Googled it. It looks the same. It doesn't taste the same though, huh? Wait, let's see
Scrapple
what's in
and
it.
liver mush. I don't know. Let me go look at this too.
I don't know. Scrapple doesn't look very appetizing.
I'm honestly apprehensive about eating anything called mush.
Clearly some liver mush.
Well, what's in Scrapple?
It's the scraps off the floor.
Then I would have to kill you. It's like the leftover. It's the leftover of the pig. It's like
It says it's pork meat, so
Oh, well, see, liver mush is liver.
I would think so.
There's no other parts in there. There's liver.
Definitely sounds worse. Tanya wins with liver mush.
We're
Love
really
my liver
tackling life's great mysteries here, which I think is the important thing.
Dan, you're losing them.
Yeah, I got to figure out what scrapple is. Yep, for sure.
So haggis and scrapple are sort of cousins, except the protein is different, and they use I think buckwheat instead of like cornmeal or something. So they changed the starch out and they changed the protein out, but the idea I think is the same. So haggis is on my bucket list. Get to Scotland, eat haggis. Maybe make
so. Sonia, liver mush says that it's using the pig liver, parts of the pig's head, cornmeal, and spices.
Okay, see, I did not need for you to tell me that.
I did know, so yeah.
Liver mush.
On today's episode of
It's been good up till now.
And that's the scrapple. It's the same as scrapple. I'm telling you.
We're gonna go over to Bob's.
You just ruined it for me.
Now the spam cam, and I'm just gonna heat this back up a little bit, and we're gonna do the quick dunk. So again,
I'm missing it.
that's a teriyaki sauce there. I cut the heat on this a little bit when I got the seaweed ready, but we're gonna finish that off with the teriyaki sauce. I've got 8 sheets here. And I'll save the other 2 little pieces of spam that I made for like breakfast tomorrow. You know, don't make your job any harder than it needs to be. Get your 8 pieces done, and then you can use the rest later. So for me, I cut these kind of long ways. So if that's the normal sheet, I cut them long. And if you look at the a piece of spam, let me go over the cutting board. If you have a piece of spam there, you can see that it's basically the width of this. Okay, geez, man. There we go. Nope, it's reversed. It's a mirror. So we're going right there. So my approach here basically gives you like a football of amazing for maximum coverage. We eat these on the beach, so that helps you keep sand out of your meal, that kind of a thing. And all we're going to do now on our stovetop, not our standby screen, is we're just going to pour this in. Now, if I had done this in better time, this would be nice and hot, and you'll see a big flash of steam. We're going to go a little slower here with our approach, and just let it kind of rock and roll this way. So at this point, we're basically just boiling it, which isn't supposed to happen. You want it to kind of sizzle out and melt down a little bit at this point. Dunk them and roll them, get all the magic on there. Again, we're taking our salt cured meat and rolling it in as much salt as we can. And if you let this go the way you're supposed to, this will basically turn back into like a very sticky, god-awful mess. And that's when you know you're doing it right. When you look at that pan, you're like, that's going to be a nightmare to clean later. That's right where we need to be. So I should have spooned this in. I was trying to look cool for all of my friends here on the screen, and put too much in here because you kind of want this to evaporate quickly and build more of a char action. But it's okay. We're going to be fine. So you're just letting the sugars in there caramelize a bit, and getting yourself your next drink. We've switched over to a ginger brew from Maine Root. I drink root beer and ginger ale because those are the only things that my kids and wife don't drink. So I get to keep them all for myself. And I hope everyone's enjoying a little dry, a beverage or dry January, whatever you're doing for this time of year. Okay, so that is probably coming along pretty nicely. I'm tempted to pour some of this off but that's going to be more trouble than it's worth. So we're just gonna make it work. Again, you just want to heat it through. Ideally, I would have put a little less in this, but it's fine. I don't normally make it this way. I usually just eat straight Spam. I probably should have not done all of them because Leo's probably not going to like them this way, but it'll be fine. It's sugar. It's sugar. It's just making it better.
It looks good.
So if you'll see, it's starting to get a little more viscous, which is good. And you can save the rest of the teriyaki sauce that you made. I like to soak chicken thighs in it for like 2 days, 3 days. And if you have a hunter in your family, the best thing that you're ever going to eat is you get the tough cuts of venison and soak it in this teriyaki. And that soy sauce and the ginger are going to break down the venison and get it amazing. And then that is like one of my favorite memories of my childhood is my uncle he worked down at the Pentagon in the Army for a few years there, and he was a hunter. And, you know, wherever you stand on that is wherever you stand on that. But I just remember enjoying like hand grilled teriyaki sauce. They cheat. I found out they cheat. Like I thought that they had some like amazing recipe that they made from scratch over days for the marinade. It was literally just poured out of the Kikkoman teriyaki sauce. Which like later on I was like, so what's your recipe? And they're like, we just buy the teriyaki Kikkoman sauce and use that. So apparently that's my favorite one. So this is good. So you'll see this here if we're on the video. That is the syrupy action you're looking for. And you can just cut your heat at that point and roll stuff in that. And it's going to bring a ton of that thick, funky loveliness with it into your next stage, which we're going to start now. So this is the moment you've all been waiting for, assembly. You want to get your rice cooker, and what I like about the rice cooker or the pot of rice is just kind of move that closer. I didn't think that far ahead, but we're going to make it work. So I think right here is where we'll go. And okay, we're good. So let's switch over to cutting board. Cutting board. All right. So the way to do this is you make a decision about what kind of family you're going to have. You're either going to be shiny side out or shiny side in. I like shiny side out, which means the press side is in. I think that's how most people go, but if you're looking to do things a little bit differently, you can put shiny side in. So the rice is going to work as both a glue and as your thing to like make all this salt work. So you don't want to be too stingy with it, but you'll find that people use all different levels. And what I have here is a Spam Musubi mold. I'm sure all of you have one as well, sitting around in your cupboard somewhere. If you don't have one, you can, from what I've seen, people used the can, and they made a mold out of the can, which is a way to do it. I also saw someone putting saran wrap into the can and then packing the rice into the bottom. Pull the saran wrap out, you'll have your little ball of rice, which will be Spam shaped. But it's $1.29 or $3. Buy one, give it to your friends. I think that's the way to go. So I just realized that I've been ignoring chat the entire time.
Tina just had a good chat. If everybody could turn on their cameras, who's willing and able, we just want to get a picture as Dan brings us to the finale.
Caleb, it's Kellum. We might want to go into grid view for that.
I was in grid view. I was going to take a picture of it all for you.
Oh, I thought we were a couple of us were taking photos.
I mean,
Okay, sorry.
everybody should that can, but yeah.
Are we a countdown?
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Don't be awkward.
Too late.
Thank you all.
All right. That makes it official. This is now an LCE thing. I should have brought one of the banners by to one further. So where were we? We're jumping back to the cutting board, and we've had our spam mold that everyone got for their birthday or anniversary. Happy anniversary again to Tina. And you want to grab. You're gonna have to get comfortable with however much rice it is. So to me, it's about that much, probably like a third of a cup. And you kind of want to just punch it in and make it sort of flat there. So that's going to be step one, and then you're going to press. So if you don't have a press, we'll do the next one without one, and we'll just see how it goes. And then you want to grab a piece of your teriyaki spam, which should look something like that now. It's going to be bathed in teriyaki sauce, and set that on top.
Dan, that is beautiful. I got to tell you.
Now, an hour and a half before we kick things off, I went to grab the furikake or rice seasoning, and it wasn't there. And Anna let me know that the rice seasoning was 3 years old, and we shouldn't keep things that are 3 years old in the house. I told her it's just sesame seeds and dried seaweed. It doesn't go bad. And then she told me that's not how the world works. So she did run out and buy me this right before we went on air. And all you're really looking for here is like something that has some sesame seeds in it. And it isn't a required ingredient, but if it's not in there, it's not going to be the same. You'll notice it's missing. I thought that it might be possible to make it work with everything bagel seasoning. So I might try one that way, but again, don't go too nuts with this. You just want to put a little bit on. That was too much. I'm getting used to this one. And then you're going to go more rice. So everyone does this one differently. Some people go rice, spam, and done. I go rice, spam, rice because I love me some rice and I want this thing to be a complete meal for whoever's eating it. So, I throw 2 of these at my son and he is good to go. So again, another little press, and you're not looking to smash it here. You're just looking to compress the rice a bit. And if you have the mold, you'll sort of be presented with this sort of situation here. I think I'm going to set up the side view. Let's get crazy. So I'm switching our stove. So the spam cam is now our side view, and that's kind of what you should have. Something like that. There should just be about a ½ inch to a ¼ inch of rice. Your spam in the center with teriyaki sauce. And then you're just going to fold over the nori, and you want to leave the seam on the bottom, and that's pretty much it. So she's good to go. A little bit of time there will let everything the steam of the rice is going to sort of make everything gel together and stick together better. So that's kind of what you're after. You want to keep everything nice and hot. And then normally you would saran wrap this. We made a decision as a household to stop trying to use saran wrap. So we don't have any saran wrap. So what I use now is this little bit of ridiculous right here. I don't know if Anna bought this on purpose, but I think it's originally to fit sandwiches. But in my mind, it's a perfect Spam Musubi carrier. So We'll pop that into there and close it up and just sort of let the steam do its thing. So you want to keep them covered. If you're buying these in Hawaii, they'll be saran wrapped with like 47 wraps to survive nuclear winter. I think it's like a point of pride to make sure that nothing's going to happen to it in between you eating it, you buying it and you eating it. So, you know, we're gonna do one without the mold. Stand by. No mold. Let's see how this goes. I think this rice is probably going to burn the heck out of me, but we'll see. So, get your hands wet. Grab a little rice. You could probably scoop this off into a bowl, which would probably be the smart decision. Oh, that was a bad idea. Let me just fix that camera. Sorry about that. I'm sure this never happens to Chef Ramsay. Childs. All right, we're back. We're back in business. So I've just scooped the rice off to give it some time to cool before I grab what is probably 175 degrees of agony. And we're just going to hand form it. So get your hands wet so the rice doesn't stick to you. You're just going to make a quick rice ball. You know, make it spam shaped. Obviously.
Dan,
Yeah.
we had a taste tester and we have a first review here.
What do you think, bud?
Really good.
That's amazing. All right, so that was we're doing our hand formed here. And I don't really cook too often with my kids, but this is one where it's kind of fun to have like other people helping you assemble. So if someone's bringing these to a party in Hawaii, they're not going to make 8. They're going to make like a tray. They're going to probably do like 4 to 6 cans worth and bring like 32 of these things. And everyone's like, "Oh, what's the serving size?" And it's like the serving size is like one whole one of these. When we did the potluck, I ended up cutting them up into slices for people, so they didn't have to like commit to a whole one. But yeah, you're probably gonna get like 1 or 2 for yourself. I got to be honest with you, hand rolling these things, it'll work.
Can you also use the can from the Spam to?
Yeah. So that's what I saw on the internet. I saw people using the can. They rinsed the can out. I saw some people just cut the top of the can off so that everything was sort of fit. But you know, we're doing a little nod, I'm sure, to the original roots of the thing. That looks nailed it.
Spam MacGyver.
There we go. All right, so hand rolled, not as good. Get the mold. I think they're on Amazon for a couple bucks. I'm pretty sure that if we talk to HR, they could probably get some branded with the LCE logo, and we could start giving them out at things.
Sarah, was it pretty easy for you, Sarah?
It was,
look
and
good.
I don't have the mold yet, but I used my kids' lunch bento box.
That looks good.
That's amazing.
I maybe browned it a little bit more, burned brown, but I still liked it.
We'll take brown. We'll go with brown.
That's perfect. I mean, for first try, that's awesome. Now, if we are being perfectly honest, I think Sarah does have. You were telling me you have a brother who's in Kauai, so she's done on island research. So from here, it's just off to the races. So you know, just keep your system moving. You wanna grab one, set yourself up, scoop your rice, and just keep moving through them. I'll probably do a few more on screen. I actually think the smart money is to put the rice seasoning Teriyaki here at this point. I think that's how I normally do it. I think that's what I actually did on the screen too. So yeah, putting on top of the Spam was weird. It felt weird when I did it, but I was just very excited to get some Spam out of the pan there. And I'm going into my hand. And then into this thing.
Now I know why I can't find furikake in the store. I've been saying it wrong.
Yeah, I'm probably saying it wrong too because I'm not actually sure how it's pronounced. But when in doubt, just say it like you know what it's supposed to be. All right, so again, assembly. This is it. We're doing it.
And take this assembly to impart all wisdom of etiquette and meal prep that you can. Feel like I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't point out the 605. So impart all wisdom, sir.
Okay, so we're basically here at it's 6:05. Okay, great. The goal here is in Hawaiian culture, and I say Hawaiian culture, I just mean the local culture that I was raised with. You don't show up empty-handed, and I know that's mirrored in a lot of different cultures, which is to you don't show up without a dish or something. And I've gotten to places empty-handed and made sure that we stopped on the way there just to get something, even if it was like a 6-pack of soda or a case of soda or something. And if you show up with something, and even more amazing, something that you prepared, you're always going to make friends with those local folks. I've always, having my dad, who's an Italian Irish guy, we would bring different dishes. So we started bringing like red sauce with ziti and a meat sauce with the ketchup base that Candace is so proud of to the function. And it would sit there uneaten, and I was like, oh wow, no one liked our dish. But when it was time to leave, everyone would make a plate, and you would see these plate, like everyone was just hammering it. Then at that point, I realized, oh okay, people were saving that to go home with. They didn't want to they wanted to eat that. They wanted to enjoy that later, not with their regular local dishes. So I really appreciate the opportunity to share this dish with you all. I look forward to seeing all the dishes that you might share in the future, and I'm just again grateful that I work at a company where this can be a thing. I can put an idea out there, and everyone can show up and hang out with me for an hour while I go through it and do it. So thank you all for coming, and look forward to episode 2 starring maybe one of you. I'll kick it back over to you, Caleb.
Thanks, Dan. And yeah, the call to action again is try out the recipe that Dan taught us. Post a picture on LCE Net for a chance to win a gift card. Maybe not, but post your pick. And call to action for volunteers to help continue the journey on education, awareness, and celebration of diversity within LCE. You can do that by the monthly celebration that put out, or as Dan indicated, second episode, there's a high bar, but it's calling all auditions for LCE Cooks. Join me in a round of applause for our chef, Dan. Thank you so much for bringing us into your kitchen. Great job.
Hey, Caleb, when is the deadline for the photo ops?
Good call, Tina. Let's make it Monday. Gives the weekend.
I'm not going to make that in time.
Come on,
Kenneth.
Come on, Kenneth, get that Spam. You could do it.
You should probably add a little disclaimer about keeping an eye out for people who are just copy and pasting from Google Images.
Good point.
Did a great job, Dan. Thank you for that today.
I know I'm hungry now.
I know I'm starving.
It's dinner time.
Yeah, great job, Dan. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Hi, guys.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. You're awesome. Thank you all. Have a good evening.
Bye, everyone.
See you guys.